So, the dust is settling on the Siya Kolisi issue, and man, he's covered in the stuff. I must admit, I was shocked at the speed and ferocity of the condemnation that Kolisi suffered at the hands of black South Africans. I'm not naive. I knew his comments were controversial and that it would elicit a strong response, but I felt that many reacted without thinking. I've done the same thing. I'm as guilty, but it's 2019, and I'm going to try and tackle issues like this with thoughtful consideration. So here it goes. There are a couple of things I don't want to do here. Primarily, I don't want to explain Kolisi's lived experience because it's just that, his lived experience. When he intimates that black players are adversely affected by the quota cloud that hangs over them, we need to accept that as fact because he's in the arena, we aren't. Many black thought leaders have tried to explain that quotas are an indictment on a previously racist and currently unequal system, and not an indictment on black talent. I get that and I agree to a certain extent, but it's completely irrelevant in the context of a player's lived experience. That's the point Kolisi was trying to make. There's another big issue here, and I understand that many black South Africans want Kolisi to be their voice and want him to use his platform to progress their causes. But this is unfair. You cannot expect him to be something that he doesn't want to be. Sporting history is full of athletes who've been comfortable carrying this burden. Just recently, Colin Kaepernick has drawn global attention for his social justice stand. However, throughout sporting history, the vast majority of black athletes have either not wanted to be that or have felt ill-equipped to be that. I've interviewed Kolisi many times, and during that period, he's been unfailingly proud of his journey to an elite level of his sport. I've also had many informal conversations and off-the-record chats about this issue. He is intensely proud of his blackness, despite what black Twitter might say. But more than that, he's acutely aware of his responsibility to excel in his position. And that's the boldest statement he wants to make about his race. That given equal opportunities, black players can not only survive, but thrive. Kolisi's views on this can be further appreciated when you understand that he has never seen himself as a victim of a racist or unequal system. Without getting too philosophical here, when you surrender to a victim mentality, you also surrender your power to change your circumstances. An example of this, as a child, when Kolisi was given the opportunity to go to a better junior school, he showed up on the first day of term with his boots in his hand, despite the offer not being formalized yet. Then when he went to Grey High, he never ever lamented the fact that his peers had a head start. He simply got about building the best version of himself. Then at Western Province, he never expected a handout because of the changing political landscape in rugby. He established himself on merit, climbed the ladder to Super Rugby, established himself as a regular there, and has now become the first black Springbok captain. There are many legitimate reasons that Kolisi could have failed, but he's never been a victim. He's always been the master of his own destiny. Also, lost in a wave of rage from his critics is a statement that Kolisi made, where he said that transformation has to start at grassroots level. In the past, I've spoken at length about equal opportunity being the cornerstone of transformation. I say this because it's ironic that the same politicians who are condemning Kolisi for his comments are the ones that are doing too little to resource communities like Vrede, his hometown, in a bid to create those equal opportunities. A case in point here being the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee for Sport and Recreation, Beauty Dlulane. She oversees a department that is chronically underperformed despite what televised ribbon-cutting ceremonies will tell you. Look, I don't know if Madiba would have supported quotas. It's Kolisi's view that he wouldn't have, and he needs to own that. I do know that Madiba's struggle was in large part for the restoration of humanity and dignity of black South Africans. There's no question that Kolisi has to educate himself on our political history in the context of the sport he plays. But it's my view that we also need to extend Kolisi the grace that we all needed at some stage in our lives as we grew in our emotional intelligence. Siya's growth is happening with the world's eyes trained on him. That's a lot for a 27-year-old to deal with. So instead of lynching him, how about you support a national treasure?